if you haven't had a chance to check out this column by Caleb Calhoun, you definitely need to do that because there are some big-time position battles on campus and will be, and we get to that right now. We're going to go 4 downs on this, even though we got 5 downs or 5 position battles. So maybe it's like the Colorado, who was it game?
Missouri. Colorado, Missouri.
It all comes back to Missouri's just bad for college football.
Well, Tennessee tied Colorado that year, by the way. First game of the year.
That is true. And do you remember who the running back was that had a huge game?
I mean, for Tennessee, it would. I don't remember for Colorado.
Eric Bieniemy.
Oh, interesting. I don't remember, but I've seen highlights, and Chuck Webb didn't know to go down.
I think he was hurt, and a guy named Pritchard. But Bieniemy was like a Heisman candidate going into the season before he became a top offensive coach. I'd have to look that one up.
Colorado produced some great runners from the 90s and the early 2000s.
No doubt about it. Here we go. 4 downs now, position battles at the University of Tennessee.
4 downs. 4 questions. 4 answers. The Dave Hooker Show.
4
downs. A presentation of offthehooksports.com.
All right, here we go. Position battles. We're going to talk defensive tackle, slot receiver, offensive line, and cornerback. So let's go ahead and get it started. Cooper Mays, what down is it, sir?
Coop here. First down.
Who starts, Nico or Joe Milton III? Joking. That's not the one. Caleb's looking at me like I'm a complete idiot. That's not the one. Defensive tackle. We know that Amari Thomas is going to be really good. We talked about this yesterday. Tyler Barron, Roman Harrison had the in spots locked up for now. How about Bryson Eason? How about Omar Norman-Lott? Elijah Simmons, Tyree West? There is a position battle there for the starting 2 positions, but there's also a position battle at defensive tackle. First down, what do you think about this group heading into preseason camp, Caleb?
So 3 spots are locked up. The 2 ends, Roman Harrison and Tyler Barron, and Amari Thomas has one of the tackle spots locked up. The other tackle spot is a complete question mark. It could be Bryson Eason, could be Omar Norman-Lott, could be Elijah Simmons, from what you're telling me. And Karat Garland is probably the most experienced of the crew. One of those 4, I think Tyree West may have one. And Tyree West was supposed to have a ton of potential, but we didn't see a lot from him last year. So one of those 5, it could take the other spot, and it could be any of them.
My prediction is that Elijah Simmons, if he decides to be that guy, will be that guy. If he doesn't, I think Elijah Simmons will be the guy that comes in and you're like, man, he played 20 snaps or played 15 snaps and made a couple of pretty significant plays. Why is he not doing more? I think he lacks consistency at this point. What
He's the guy you might see at the bottom of a pile when Tennessee stops somebody on 4th and an inch.
There you go.
That type of guy.
Yeah, or make a push that flushes a quarterback, doesn't get a stat, but you're like, man, he dominated that guy. Second down, Coop. Is that right?
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
All right, the left side of the offensive line, left guard and left tackle. What do you make of the left side? I think it's John Campbell Jr. at left tackle, but I'm not so sure about left guard. Yeah, I hear a lot of good things about Addison Nichols, but he's got to get tougher and grow up a little bit. What do you think about left guard in particular, and hit up left tackle as well?
Yeah, I think John Campbell Jr. probably has left tackle locked up. I'm surprised they didn't keep J.J. Crawford over at left tackle when they moved Gerald Mincy to the right side because of Crawford's experience and how respected he is in the locker room. And that really leads me to believe that maybe John Campbell Jr. is that good. And also maybe they don't trust Gerald Mincy to anchor a side by himself. That's what that really tells me. That So on the left side, I think it's John Campbell Jr. And I don't know who the other tackle would be. I mean, Tennessee's a little thin, honestly, at that spot. And so it'd have to be somebody we aren't expecting. At left guard, I would have said Addison Nichols, but I think they're really intent on having him be the heir apparent to Cooper Mays because they just don't have a backup center right now, and they desperately need one. And so I think they're going to spend a lot of time with him there.
Nope. Fair point. Third down is now.
Tennessee center
Whoa,
Cooper Mays.
whoa,
here.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Second down.
Oh, that's third, Coop.
Tennessee center Cooper Mays. Here. Third down.
Cornerback. That is Caleb's favorite position. He has been high on Tennessee's cornerback since we began. Not really. But your thoughts on cornerback. What does Tennessee roll out there to begin the fall, and what do you think that Tennessee ends up with when they open the season against Virginia?
So this is the funny thing. Cornerback actually didn't lose anybody, and I still have this as a huge position battle because everybody was so bad at it last year. And I think Tennessee rolls out with Warren Burrell at the number 2 spot, and Jordan Matthews takes the number 1 spot. And then I think Danico Slaughter will hold down the nickel spot.
Does that not scare you that a true freshman could take over at corner?
No, I mean I know what Fred White has said, but Bryce Thompson was a freshman All-American at corner a few years ago, and I think corner is next to running back. You can plug in a freshman at cornerback, and it can be good.
All right, here we go. Fourth down, Coop.
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. Fourth down.
All right, slot receiver. This is probably the most interesting to see if it's Squirrel White or Dante Thornton or a combination of both. I think Tennessee very well could rotate those guys, much like they rotated Princeton Fant and Jacob Warren last season. I think they could rotate their slot receivers. Thoughts?
That's highly possible. It's also possible that Thornton becomes a utility receiver, kind of like jeudy-lally, funny enough, at cornerback, where they plug Thornton in wherever there's an injury. Or wherever, Brew McCoy, Ramel Keaton, and Squirrel White, one of them sits out a drive, and Thornton just replaces one of them because Thornton is the one that can play wide out or slot. So they could have like a 4-drive rotation at that point, not just in every other rotation.
Okay, let me ask you, of this group, which one should Tennessee fans be most excited about if it's locked up and absolutely done 2 weeks into camp? Somebody's won the job, done. Which position?
I mean, that would be slot receiver, wouldn't it? At that point, if someone's locked it up.
I was going to say corner because I think they can only be so bad at slot. I think they'll at least be very good.
So you're saying if someone locks up the corner spot, that means somebody was really good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay, that makes sense. Because if they don't have a starter with a week leading up to the game, then that means they're desperate to find somebody.
Right. That means nobody stepped up, and then you're in a type of position because you're going to have to pick. I mean, guys, I know it's August 1, but you're going to have to pick somebody and a starting 11 on both sides here in about 3 weeks. So, I mean, there's not a lot of – because you've got to have a game week preparation with your starters in. So, I mean, there's not nearly as much time as we may think.